Trapped by the belief that I'm not good enough, bound by the limitations and the lies that consumed my world, this was me. It wasn't until I took the biggest leap in my life to know and trust the power within. And it was at that moment I made a choice. My past will not define me anymore. Hello, I am Teri, and I know I am not alone in this. Over the years, I have found that the number one mistake that we make is that we get in the way of our own success story. Yes, I said it. On this show, together we'll tackle limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, getting stuck, fear, doubt, overwhelm, and the imposter syndrome. Join us on this journey designed to transport you beyond your limitations to a world where anything is possible. This is Talking with Teri.
Hello, and welcome back to Talking with Teri, where we have powerful conversations to transform your life and your business. And I can't wait to introduce our guest today. Salisha Thomas is a California native and a former Miss California. I feel kind of like we should be doing this. Okay, for those that are listening, I'm doing the wrist with elbow.
Come on, come through.
And she's also a former vocalist for Disneyland. She's performed regionally and toured with the beautiful, the Carole Musical, and later joined the cast on Broadway. She's the host of Black Hair in the Big Leagues podcast. And before Broadway shut down, Salisha was in the rehearsals of the Britney Spears Musical, Once Upon a One More Time. Oh my goodness. So excited, so delighted to have you here. Welcome, Salisha.
Thank you, Salisha. Don't worry, it's okay. My own grandmother calls me Shalisa. It's Salisha, like bye Felicia, but with an S. It can be a tongue twister even for me. So thank you, Teri, for having me.
Thank you so much. So I love, and for folks, you have an incredible following. You are an incredible celebrity in your own right, and would love for folks to hear a little bit more about you. So bring us up to speed, how you got to be where you're at today and performing on Broadway. What an incredible success story.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. When I was in high school, I actually wanted to be a lawyer. I also wanted to be a musician, but it was my theater teacher who was like, do you really want to be a lawyer, or do you want to act like a lawyer? I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I had to choose, like, do I want to be on the stage or in the pit playing the music? And I did choose theater because the first pageant I ran in, I needed a talent. And so I took voice lessons so that I could sing for my talent. And I was like, I kind of love this. And so I majored in it in college at Cal State Fullerton in Southern California, and became a princess and vocalist for Disney. And, my heart has always been in New York City since my 8th grade field trip to New York. And I eventually was able to move here on the recommendation of a homeless man who I know, sounds crazy, right?
Angel, you never know who's showing up to be your angel that day.
You never know. You never know. And when I came to New York as an adult to visit for like 48 hours, not 48 hours, but I came here to visit, and a homeless man told me that I need to move and I need to do it now. So I did that. I listened, and a funny thing happens when you listen to your gut, to your intuition. I like to call it the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And so the week that I got here, I heard about and got the first national tour of Beautiful, the Carole King Musical, and was able to tour with that show for 2 years. And then, like you said, made my Broadway debut. And so now I'm like officially in the Broadway community, and I'm hoping to be a part of the show that I was in before the pandemic. And so, yeah, here we are.
Which you will be.
Trust.
So for folks that are listening, what has been your biggest challenge or barrier that you've had to overcome on your journey? Because I think there's such value in listening to the stories of others, and sometimes it's just giving that permission that we can get up one more time, right?
Yeah,
in our journey.
I have found that as humans, we love to ask everybody for advice. Our friends, our family, people who like us or don't even like us. Anybody.
Agreed. Why do we do that?
Why do we do that? Asking everybody what they think we should do. And I have learned and am still learning that the answers to everything we already know. We have the answers. We just have to trust the answer. And sometimes if you can't hear it, maybe you need to turn off the noise, like stop looking everywhere outside of yourself and just like, I think like guidance is important. Therapy is important. All those things are important. But when it comes to the final say, turn down the volume on the world and just tune in to what you are being nudged towards. And whenever I have done that, Teri, here's what I've seen. Whatever I'm supposed to do is usually not the logical choice.
Agreed.
It usually sounds crazy. Yeah. It usually feels like that is not what everybody else is going to do. And then I do it and I'm always like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. How did that unfold that way? And then everyone who sees at the end of they're like, oh my goodness, that's the only path you could have ever taken, which is easy to say after it's done. Yes. But beforehand, it's so easy to be discouraged by people's advice, especially if it's something that doesn't line up logically. Like for me, moving to New York City, I had a whole life. I had my dream job as a college kid. I had graduated, but had my dream job at Disney. I had my car, my own apartment, my boyfriend, like my whole family, my life was there. And to sell everything and to quit my job, break my lease, and to move out to New York is not logical. I did not have a job.
Based on the advice of a homeless person telling you
this. Yes. Just who sat down next to me at the train when I was here. He was just like, I don't know who you are, but you need to move here and you need to do it now. Yeah. And my whole body.
I'm getting chills as you said that. I'm just getting full body chills.
My whole body responded viscerally. And I'm like, what is that feeling? And so whenever I have made a big decision in the past, when I have that full body goosebumps or my stomach is churning or it might be something different, but I listen to it and then I go and do that thing and see how it turns out. And so far, whenever I get those full body chills, the answer is do it.
Like do it. Yes. Well, and I think that this is so much gold that you're unpacking because I want to dive a little bit deeper because I think there's a lot of people that are listening. They're like, okay, that sounds great. And it's, yes, she can do that, but I can't do it. Or we get trapped in those two worlds of, I call it the two realities, right? We have this reality and this reality. These two realities are simultaneously happening at the exact same time. And we get to, I believe that we get to choose between these realities and it's a choice, right? And it's, and it's listening to that inner knowing. And I'm right there with you. Like, I truly believe that we have everything that we need within us to do what we are called to do and our bigger purpose and passion that's on this planet. But there's that, all those other like stories and people in our past saying, you can't do this. And you know, and I remember even when I was younger and I was making this big change in my life in high school, and it changed the trajectory of my life. And I had the people that were my mentors telling me not to do it. And there was something in me that says, I'm gonna be the envelope pusher on this. And I did it. And you know what happened as a result of that? The person that was definitely saying, don't do this, do this. I became dead in his eyes during that day. And so it takes massive courage. It takes massive courage to do the things that we know to be true. So what would you say to folks that are like, I am consumed by, listening to other people's and what they feel is important to me? I mean, again, it's going back to that piece of this is your journey. This is your path. And I know that we are human beings and we want to get that outside validation, and we
Yeah.
need it. We need it. Like it's almost like we're
Yeah.
addicted to it, right? Someone earlier today on the show was
Right?
saying, well, everyone's addicted to something. And so
Yeah.
folks out there that might be addicted to that outside validation is, how do we pull back from that a little bit? And like you said, shut down the external, shut down the
Just
noise of the
turn
world.
it down. Turn it
Yes.
down. Everyone will always have that chit chat.
Yes.
For sure. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't want, what did you actually ask me right now? I'm like, I don't want to go off on a tangent.
I just like, well, let's take a little deeper dive of like
Yeah.
this need for people, because I think it's one thing to say, yeah, just
Yes.
let's
Okay.
turn it down. But
Right.
we are still struggling with turning it down, because it's like there's other stories and beliefs that are
Right.
happening,
So
that we
you
are having
mentioned,
this internal struggle between these two realities of like choosing this and choosing that.
you mentioned pushing the envelope a little bit and the courage that it takes to do that. So
Yeah.
before I moved to New York, my my big like, ooh, what should I do? And like listening to that inner voice, like that my first big time was actually when I was in college, about to graduate. Like I think I was a junior, or I don't know, it was my senior year. And actually this was not my first big like, okay, God, is this you? But I had just gotten hired at Disney as a full-time vocalist. And if I were to take the job, it was like rehearsals were like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day for the last quarter of my semester.
Wow.
So my advisors were like, Salisha, you can't take this job. If you do, you need to drop out of school, but you can come back. Well, of course, welcome you back, and then you can finish. Everybody told me it's this or it's that. First of all, I never liked school. I was doing it for everybody else. I was like, ugh. And I really wanted to work at Disney, but if I took the Disney job, my parents were like, we're going to disown you and we're going to not pay for anything. I was like,
Yes.
if I dropped out of school. And so you talked about pushing the envelope, and sometimes that's what it takes. I went to each professor individually and said, is there a way we can make this work? And we all came up with our
solution.
own and I was able to not just take my job at Disney, but to graduate early, because God is good.
Wow. Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. And I think that is, I mean, Marie Folio always says everything is figure outable. And I think that is such gold of what you just said, which is, you know what? If we are willing to push the envelope, if we're willing to say, you know what, is there a way we can have both worlds? Is there a way that we can do this and eat our cake too, right? Is there a way? And I think sometimes just by asking that question, like, what if, because I was literally just talking to a client yesterday, and she was getting a no. And I said, you know what, here's the thing with a no. For me, I see a no as an opportunity. It's like, oh, now it's like, okay, this is a no for an invitation for curiosity.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, now I'm being called to be curious. Okay. And curiosity engages the brain. It allows for us to look at solutions and other ways of being, versus like, I'm just going to take this no and be like, okay, I'm a good student. No means no. Okay. But no, it's like, this is your life.
This is your life.
If you are determined and committed and driven and called, then it is I think it's our birthright to figure out the solution.
I honestly, like, when I hear no's, when I hear about people's no's, about my own no's, here's the thing. It always hurts in the moment, especially if it's something that you want.
Agreed. Yes.
But this life thing, it's a game, number one. But it's a game of time. So the people who give up, they lose. The people who don't give up, they're going to win. It's just a matter of time. So my life is mostly composed of no's. And then if you turn to my Instagram, you will see many squares of yeses. My life is not yeses. That's the highlight reel. What we share with the world
yes, agreed.
Is the highlight reel. But you only get the maximum number of highlights when you put yourself out for even more no's.
That is so golden. Oh my gosh, love it.
It's mostly rejection. Like,
yes.
But you gotta just keep going, because eventually you're gonna rack up some really cool yeses.
Yes. So go for the rejection. Rejection is
Yes.
okay.
Rejection
Yes.
is good.
Yes.
It's good. But you have to like know that it's just a game of time, like that it's going to come. It's going to come. But like, don't let that actually like make you get knocked down to where you don't want to get up.
Agreed.
Just keep going. Just
Just
keep going.
Yes. Just keep going. Absolutely. I love that, because I think so often that we take that one no and we make it into, we craft a fabulous, incredible story
Of
around
how
that no.
horrible
Like,
we are.
oh my
about
goodness. It's like
not good
literally
enough.
no just means next. So if we can just ground those two into everybody's brains and like cinch those two, that no just means next. And I know that it's hard not to take it personally, but just say, you know what, it wasn't the right timing, it wasn't the right person, it wasn't the right whatever, and it's okay. And maybe it's no for now, but it doesn't have to be no forever.
But it won't be no forever.
And it won't be no forever, because there's going to be something else that presents. And sometimes those no's are the door that opens to the next yes, right? And so, because I think of I've thought about like some of the things that I've gotten said no to, and what has happened is like that no then gets, oh well, here's a no, but here's this person, and then here's this person, and and then this person's like, and I'm like, wait, what? Like it had opened up so many other doors that if I would have just stopped the path or stopped the journey there, would have never opened up all the other like nuggets that were lying on the path. So I agree with you. So for the listeners out here listening to all this like gold nuggets, okay, what can you what's a tool or a nugget or a strategy that you could share that has helped you in your journey, in this process?
A tool or nugget, gosh, other than embracing failure and being resilient, don't let it not keep you down.
So when you've gotten knocked down, how have you climbed out of that hole? How have you?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Thank you. Because I've been knocked down a lot. And this pandemic has like knocked a lot of people down. I'm one of them. But here's the thing. When something that you really wanted just got slammed in your face, like a really big rejection, whether it's like a relationship or a job opportunity or something in your social circle or who knows what it was. When you're down, I like to do this. Feel all the feels. Okay? Because if you push it away and act like you're tough and whatever, it's just going to come banging on the door.
Exactly.
Give yourself a moment to grieve. Like
louder and stronger.
Like it's okay to be like, man, this sucks. Like that is okay. But then you can't stay there forever. And when it's time to move, you don't have to start off sprinting. Just baby steps. I read this in Tony Robbins' book. He calls it Kaizen, which is like small, minute changes consistently over time equal huge, colossal changes. So if you just take a whole life full of baby steps, you will get somewhere.
Agreed. Yes.
Eventually. So you don't have to be like, all right, well, I'm at rock bottom. Now let me go pretend like I'm on top of the world. Nope. You just have to, first step, decide to keep going. And maybe it's just, I'm going to just wash my face and see what happens. Like baby steps, but just keep moving. Don't, whatever it was, like if, like I, going for auditions, if I got a no, just because I got the door slammed on me doesn't mean I stopped going to auditions. Like somebody's going to hire me eventually. Like I'm an actress. Like this is, I'm going to do this. Like you have to believe in yourself enough to like just keep going, whether it's that book proposal that you're sending off, like keep going, keep sending it out, keep tweaking it, and do not give up. Like that has been like the biggest thing for my life, I think, is just not
and that's a powerful mantra, right? Just as a reminder to us all of like, do not give up. Do not give in to whatever is coming up, do not give in to the fear, the doubt, the worry, the insecurities. Do not give into it. We are these powerful, beautiful beings, and we are here. I believe if we have a body and we have a presence on this planet, we have work to do. And
Yeah.
all of us have a purpose and a passion. And like what you just said, if we just take those small increment stops and just take one step at a time, we
Yeah.
will get there eventually.
Yeah.
And it
And
may be even better than we ever planned or
it,
imagined.
oh,
Right?
because
Because
yes, because God is good. And in this life, here's like what I've really figured out, and I'm still figuring out, is whatever we believe about ourselves, other people will believe that too, for better or for worse. So if
agreed.
you don't think that you are good enough, that kind of like, you're kind of like projecting that out. But when you believe, oh, I can do this job. Oh, I know I can do it. That is the energy that you're putting out, and people see you through your eyes. I heard Justin Guarini say that. They don't see you through their eyes. They see you through your eyes. So if you believe it, they'll believe it. If you think
Yes.
you're so beautiful, even if you look jacked up, people will be like, man, she is so beautiful. Like,
Well, it goes back to the energy, the presence that we're putting
yes,
off, right?
yes,
Absolutely. And so when we're putting out that energy, and that is, and I always tell people, our language is energy. Our language is, that's what people feel when we're in the presence,
yep,
right? And I was,
yes,
before we hopped on this call, I was telling you, I said, I feel your energy. And when you sent me over your media kit and everything, I'm like, your energy is present, right? And that's what people attract to. That's what people fall in love with. I mean, that is that energy that we're putting off at all times. And so if we're coming from that place of fear, doubt, and worry, I'm not good enough, I suck, that is not the energy necessarily that we want to create our highest and greatest good from.
right.
And so it's looking at, okay, how do we foster our authentic self and put off that energy that we truly, that's what we feel. And like going back to the beginning of this interview, tapping into turning on, the powers within,
Yeah,
and really
yeah,
allowing that to be the energy, the essence of what we're driving to do in this world.
yeah. Oh, when you walk into a room, or like if you're at a party, or even like the people who you surround yourself with, like you can kind of feel like, oh, I love this person, or
Yes.
I'm really not sure about that person. Listen to that, like listen to that, and your people will find you. And also, if there's somebody who you're like, I don't know, or something that you're like, I don't know, like listen to that. That's not your people. If you're at a party and you don't like the vibe, it's going to be hard for you to be your authentic self, because something inside of you is saying, this is not your party. Like, this isn't, leave.
Yes. And I love using that metaphor, like just from like a literal party, but think about it as in your business too. Like your business is your party, right?
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yes.
like what is it that's resonating with you? What's not? Take what works, leave the rest, and you do you.
Yeah, truly. Like, it's all an energy game. Oh, I love that. Teri, it's like truly what we put out into the world is exactly what we put out. We get back, I'm sorry, is what we get back. And also how we like the things that happen to us, we're seeing them through our eyes. Even just last night, was I at JFK? No, I was at Newark, the airport in Jersey.
Yes.
And I was so tired and my stomach hurt and all the things. The bathroom was fine. But then at the end, it was like, do you want to put the green face, the orange face, or the mean red face? And I was tempted to do the middle one, but that was based on how.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that how life is? Like, you are rating things on how but it's really a reflection of how you're seeing. I mean, sometimes the bathroom is trashed. Okay, sometimes it really is. There's toilet paper everywhere. It's gross. But like life in general is like how we are seeing it is through our perspective. So if everything sunshine and rain, like a lot of times, like I see people saying that their Facebook feed is all like political drama and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, my Facebook feed's not like that. My Facebook feed is all like everyone's happy and having babies and getting engaged, because all the other stuff I literally go hide.
Yeah, or delete, moving on. Yes.
And the
Because
things that
we
you
have
keep,
that choice. We have that choice of
yeah,
how and who we're going to surround ourselves with, and
yeah,
who's going to contribute to our energy and
yeah,
keeping us in a high vibe place.
yes.
Who is going to be contributing to that? Because
And what you engage in, you're welcoming that energy into your experience. So if you keep reacting, this is just a Facebook metaphor, but like if you keep reacting to that negative stuff and writing in negative comments, that is now going to be more on your feed. It's going to be more in your experience and in your life. And if you don't want that a part of your experience, you need to focus on what you do want, not on what you don't want. Whatever you focus
agreed.
on, that,
Oh
that's
my
just
goodness,
going to.
Shalisha, you have sent so many gold nuggets in this like 25 minutes here. Oh my heavens. We're gonna have to have you back. We're gonna have to have you back and just
Thank
chat some
you.
more.
You're so wonderful,
uh,
Teri.
this is fantastic. So we're wrapping up here. Just, for folks that want to connect with you, collaborate with you, and just love on you, where can they connect with you?
Oh my goodness, please listen to my podcast, Black Hair in the Big Leagues. It's on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's through the Broadway Podcast Network. Excuse me. You can read my blog at SalishaThomas.com and write me through my website and find my podcast through there as well. And also on my Instagram at Salisha Thomas, like slip into my DMs, send me a message. That's literally how I met my current boyfriend. So I'll read the messages and let me know what's up.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You are such a beam of light. So thank you for being you and being authentically you and stepping into your purpose and your passion and just living your life to your authentic, living it authentically you.
Thank you, Teri, and thank you for having me. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I am so grateful that you joined me for this episode. If you've enjoyed this, then there's just one thing that I would like you to do. Click to subscribe and leave me a rating and review. As my way to thank you, let's connect for a free consultation. Just reach out to me at talkingwithteri, that's TERI.com, to book your time.